Looks like we're swimming in money. And that's the title, Swimming in Money. And the Marketscope. And we'll cover the dollar, bonds, commodities, and stocks. And this is the prediction for February 15th to the 19th, 2021. Energy and semiconductors are the one I kept talking about, that it's going to be going up in December 2020 or by December 2020, which was about 2 months ago, and the prediction was made in May of 2020. If you follow it, if you followed it, you'd be swimming in money right now. So we're swimming in money. Let's start with the full moon effect on a personal level. Attention will be on health and employment, unemployment benefits, and stimulus. You realize that you can't always get everything, and sometimes you must adjust your expectations. For some, half a pie is better than none. If you find yourself having to compromise, then it's time to look at matters from a different perspective. Half a pie is better than none. Think about it. Overall, it's going to be a good month for many Americans, especially for those who are worried about rent. Looks like there'll be stimulus money. That's where it's coming from. And that's what the market is waiting for, the stimulus money. The government keeps changing its requirements, but there will be money in the banks of the people. The only departments that will likely have to settle for less than expected are the tax collectors and those who manage the nation's purse strings. The people will receive generous free money. The financial institutions in crisis will be bailed out too. There's a lot of lessors and lessees in trouble. The significant part of all this is the aid for the children in Wall Street benefits. The government is helping the major market indices. Maybe the White House knows not to ignore the 401ks. Jay Powell was a good choice for Fed chairman. The former president was criticized for being market-oriented, but he made a good choice, and now this administration could be following what the former president did. Save Wall Street. The entire government is accommodated. Americans are swimming in money at this full moon of February 27th. Looks like their wages are also increasing. The nation is in a charitable mood this time. In last week's Marketscope, the week before last actually, the week before last, I mentioned a crash to occur. GameStop shares on February 4th was slashed down to the $50. I also mentioned the professionals manipulating the markets. In my USA 2022, I mentioned relocation, dislocation, or decentralization of the markets. What you saw on February 3rd and 4th was exactly that. The major indices like the S&P and Dow making new highs and obscuring the crash that was taking place elsewhere, i.e. the GameStop. GameStop is not part of the S&P or the Dow, and even ExxonMobil is no longer part of the S&P. If hedge funds have to liquidate to raise capital, then the major indices will likely crash. GameStop was halted and later allowed to be traded. I think the problem was that you can only buy. The point I am trying to make is that the markets are headed in a different kind of environment, as all of you have witnessed. Market makers have been performing the same function as before. Crashes happened many times, and day trading has been around for a long time. What's different this time? Not a whole lot. Citadel's not going to disappear. How can you trade stocks or any other asset without the clearinghouse? There was a disruption, and that's what it was. Will the disruption happen again? Yes, especially between now and May. What I'm saying is that the structure of the market has changed. Breakups and fragmentations are already happening. This is post-globalism. There are day traders in India, Singapore, Japan, and Europe. We've seen trade wars, cyber wars, currency wars, and now the social media platform wars we are going to be witnessing. Markets are ubiquitous. They are everywhere, just not all the time, but they are really everywhere. Right now, we are in a financial war where currencies and banks are being restructured. At the heart of all this is the role of the central bank. Is the central bank indispensable? Right now, traders and investors are confused. The stimulus will happen, then what? The commodities market will be active going into March. Reddit traders have been raving about the silver market, but be careful. The focus will be on commodities, namely grains, lumber, oats, and even dairy. The precious metals market have had their run up already. Let's also not forget the bond market and the accommodations. The dollar, as mentioned earlier, will be able to maintain its place and remain strong. Some people may want to believe that the dollar is going to collapse, but it is not, and this should be apparent during the next couple of weeks. The dollar's bottom will be tested in the coming months as it regains its strength. We are at an all-time high, and the market is bullish. Traders and investors are waiting for a big market crash in the major indices like the one we had last year in February and March. That's behind us. Former president moved fast to steer the economy to be where it is today, and the Operation Warp Speed was also a success. I hope the new administration can be as good as the last. Now let's get on to the daily Marketscope. Monday 15th is closed for the President's Day. Tuesday 16th, traders race for control in the energy and semiconductor market. This is a fast-moving market and it sprints from the open. Wednesday, be very careful in the morning. You might believe that you positioned yourself correctly, but could get an about-face punch that could knock you over with loss. This is not a good day for many who can't seem to be in sync with the market direction. Traders are getting out of the volatile techs and autos and maybe even the banks. Expect the crypto to be highly volatile as market switches to other assets such as film, Disney, Netflix, shoes sector like Nike, that's the stock, retailers such as Tapestry, Lululemon, Posh, which is a new one, and cosmetic leaders such as Estee Lauder, and alcoholic beverages such as Constellation Brands, as well as cannabis stocks such as Aurora Cannabis. And if you noticed, I think it was today or yesterday, but anyway, this week, these cannabis stocks, got beaten down. So, Anheuser-Busch can't seem to beat Sam, Boston Beer Company, but these are featured for the next move. Today, traders are shifting gears, selling and buying, whether the perception is bullish or bearish. I'm talking about Wednesday the 17th. You accumulate little at a time and sell little at a time, quietly. The Thursday the 17th, Good trading day for those who bought into the stocks in the sectors mentioned. One sector that could be on the rise is cybersecurity stocks such as CyberArk Software. Software stocks such as Intuit and Microsoft will be movers for traders looking for active trades. February 19th, Friday. Mid-morning to the rest of the day will be a bit confusing. There's a tendency to stop and go and reverse and stall. You'll likely, excuse me, you'll likely change your stance